left the Fulltime Families meetup in Quartzsite, and now we're headed towards California to boondock near Joshua Tree National Park. But while we're still here in town in Quartzsite, we're gonna fill up on gas. And are we getting groceries?
Yeah, not in Quartzsite.
We're gonna get groceries, but not in Quartzsite. Hey. Also, while we're here, we're gonna get some propane. And I wanted to show you how to get propane in case you are new to RVing, in case you just got an RV and are wondering how to get propane and where to get it. I wanted to give you some tips and some steps on how to do it.
Hi, what you doing, Theo?
So the first step in getting propane is finding a place that has propane for sale. So we're at a mobile gas station right now, and most gas stations usually have propane for sale. Some of them don't. Some of them do, but it's impossible to get a big RV into the spot to fuel it up. But this particular mobile does have enough space for us to fit. Some other gas stations that have propane are Flying J or Pilot, and you can pretty much count on being able to get into the propane fueling area in those places because they're set up for RVs and they have lots of room to maneuver because they're set up for big trucks and RVs. So those two places are good places to get propane too. Also, if you're a Good Sam's member, you can get a 5-cent discount per gallon on your propane if you get it at Flying J or Pilot.
I want to do monster truck stuff.
What's monster truck stuff?
The monster truck stuff is gonna be like.
What, are you a little monster truck too?
Yeah.
What does a monster truck do?
Mom.
So when you find a place with propane, you need to figure out which side of your vehicle is the propane tank on. And you want to pull up to the propane fueling area so that your propane tank is facing where they're going to be filling it from. Like here, you have the propane tank, and then you see a little box that's like a metal box, and it's all locked up. That means that this is where you get the propane. So if you see that tank over there, that's not a fueling tank. And if you see a tank like that that just doesn't have a metal box next to it, that means that they're not selling propane out of that tank. So if you pull into a gas station and you see a propane tank without a metal box, that means that they don't sell propane there. You have to look for the propane tank that has the metal box next to it. Also, when you stop at a propane fueling area, make sure that you turn off all your pilot lights, like the fridge, the hot water heater, and your stove. Just make sure that all the pilots are off. And if you forget, they always ask you anyway, so it's okay if you forget. Also, another thing, at a lot of gas stations, they ask everybody to vacate the motorhome if it's a motorhome, because they don't want anybody in there in case there's like explosion or something. It's just a safety thing. Once they fill up your propane tank, then they give you a little piece of paper, and you take this into the cashier and pay for your propane. Usually if you pull into a place, chances are that there's not going to be a line. There's not usually lines, but right now we're in Quartzsite and it's crazy busy now. So there's an attendant out there who's just out there filling up bottle after bottle, and there's just a line forming. So normally it's not that busy. Normally you'd have to walk into the store and say, can I get some propane? And then the attendant will come out and meet you out there and fill you up. After you're done getting propane, you want to make sure that you turn your fridge back on. If you have a propane fridge, just switch it back to auto and it will turn back on like that. It's really easy to forget to turn back on the fridge after you get propane, and you really want to try to remember to do that, because if you don't, the fridge is basically off and all your stuff will go bad in the fridge. Are you ready to get back on the road?
Yeah.
Good.
See bye-bye Quartzsite.
Bye-bye, Quartzsite.
Can you see bye-bye Quartzsite?
Bye-bye.
I think these kids missed grass.
It's so funny because we haven't seen grass in so long because we've been in the desert. Aren't you too cute? So we're here at an Albertsons. We're gonna get some groceries.
With the name?
I'll just pretend that didn't happen. Where's Theo? Groceries done. If you're ever in a pinch and you run out of propane and you can't find anywhere that sells bulk propane from that big tank, then there are other options. You can find a gas station or another store that has a little kiosk kind of box in front of the building, and it's a propane cylinder exchange. Basically what you do is you pay for an already filled bottle of propane, and then when you empty that bottle, then you can take it back to a store that offers this service, and you can have them exchange the empty bottle for a full bottle. And when you exchange it, you don't pay as much because you already paid money for the bottle. Now you're just paying money for the propane. So it costs a little bit extra to get the bottle the first time, but after that it's not as much. But it still is more expensive than getting the bulk propane. And you can find businesses that offer this service. They're all over the place. A lot of gas stations have them, and even Home Depot and a lot of grocery stores too. Just look for that metal box with, it usually has lots of holes in the box, and it's got propane bottles inside, and it's got a sign.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. This life I love is making music with my friends, and I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again, and I can't wait to get on the road again.
All right, we found a good boondocking spot. It's just south of Joshua Tree National Park in California.
And you know what? This probably is quickly becoming my second favorite side to boondock.
It's pretty awesome here. The vegetation is just amazing. There's these flowers that are growing all over the place, wildflowers.
Lots of different kinds, and so when you get outside, you actually smell flowers, which is just, it's January, okay? So it's just so cool.
I know.
It's springtime around here.
Yeah, look at these flowers. They're just so pretty, and it's the middle of winter. And these purple ones here, these are pretty. They're so delicate too.
And the second reason why I love this place is the sand. Our boys are just gonna be so excited. They just have a whole playground. It's awesome.
What do you think about the sand, Theo? Do you like it? He's speechless. Hey, Sammy, what do you think of the sand?
I like it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes, I saw it. And of course, look at this view. That is beautiful. We're parked here on BLM land, and there's a lot of RVs parked mostly towards the beginning of the road, and we came down this dirt road maybe a mile or so, and it definitely thinned out more at the end of the road. Well, I don't know how far it goes past this, but our nearest neighbor is pretty far away that way, and then pretty far away that way, but we can still see other people. This site is not level though. Look at how many blocks I used. I pretty much used up all of our leveling blocks to get this level. Hey, Theo.
Tell me when I jump.
Okay, I'm filming you. Wow. So if you're wondering, if I get an external propane bottle, then how am I gonna get it into my onboard propane tank? See, so motorhomes have onboard propane tanks like that, and when the attendant at a gas station or anywhere where you get propane fills the bottle, they take this cap off and screw their nozzle into here, and that's how they fill it. But if you want to use an auxiliary tank, like an external tank that you get at a store, so you can use one of those exchange systems, or you can even buy your own tank like at a hardware store. And that's what I've done, because when we're stationary, that's what I prefer to do. I don't like using the propane that's in our onboard tank. I only use that for emergencies if I run out of the propane that's in the external tank. So to run off of an external tank, you have to just shut off this valve. That shuts it off at this tank. So any propane coming through the line going into your motorhome will be stopped, and so it won't be able to come out. You can take this cover off here, and this is the regulator. That regulates the flow that's coming out of the tank because it's at high pressure, and when it comes out of here, it's at a lower pressure, and it goes up into the motorhome, and then it goes to your stove and your fridge and your hot water tank and your heater. If it didn't have a regulator, it would be spraying propane out of your stove really fast, like just a gush of wind, and we don't want that, so that's why they have a regulator. So anyway, if you wanted to hook up an external tank to this system, you have to unscrew this. So what I use for that is just these pliers, and the reason why I use pliers is because if it's tightened finger tight, the jostling of the motorhome, the vibrations, will actually unscrew that coupler, and it will be leaking propane as I'm going down the road. So that's why I tighten it with pliers. So when you're taking this off, remember that flammable gas fittings have reverse threads on them. So if you're thinking about like a screw, just a regular screw, you go righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Well, this is opposite of that. It's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Once you take this off, that just comes out like that, and it's got this hose. This is where you want to connect it to your external bottle. That would just screw right on to the top of the bottle, and then you'd turn the valve, you turn the valve on, and you're good to go. You don't need to mess with this regulator. The knob is exactly where it needs to be, and you just set the bottle right here on the ground, and you're just using the propane out of the external bottle. Let me just put that back on there. So we're stationary most of the year. We only go out twice a year, maybe 3 times on a shorter trip, but we usually are stationary for most of the year. So we use our external tank most of the time, because when we're stationary, we don't want to go out very often, because just to get propane, for example, because it's just an unnecessary hassle that we would like to avoid. And so it works pretty good for us. I have a big tank that holds about 13 gallons, and it's just about the right size so that I can lift it when it's full. They make bigger ones, but I don't know, it just seems too heavy to be lifting and putting in your car. But I also have this little gauge, and I put the fitting that I just showed you back there, I put that fitting in here, it screws right in, and then this actually screws on to the propane bottle, and you can just tighten it and loosen it with your hand instead of using the pliers, and it's a lot easier. And plus it's got a gauge so you can tell how low it is without picking it up and shaking it. Remind me to show you when we get back to Coeur d'Alene and we're stationary for a while, because I would really love to show you how we set up that bottle, and so you could see it, and because it really works great for us and I really like it. And plus I remember doing some research on YouTube and trying to figure out how I can use an external bottle, because I didn't know how to connect it, and so I did some research and found a video that showed me how, and I just thought maybe I could help you in the same way. Man, there's just mosquitoes or ants or something biting my legs. What you got?
That.
What's that?
It's an old cactus.
Oh, poor thing. Looks like it got ran over.
Show Daddy the one that you found that's not dead.
Where is it, Sammy? Oh!
You don't want to miss cactuses.
No, you don't want to mess with cactuses. Why don't you want to mess with cactuses?
Because they're so thorny.
They're so thorny, that's right.
Can we go on that mountain?
No, it's too far away.
But I want to go on it.
Yeah, it's really far away, Sammy, and there's lots of rocks, lots of cactuses too, and rattlesnakes, and tarantulas, and scorpions.
But there could be a ground squirrel somewhere.
A ground squirrel?
Yeah,
I don't know if they live around here.
but they're so wild.
Maybe. I heard coyotes
Where?
up there in the mountains.
Way there?
Way up there.
On that mountain?
Yep.
That mountain?
Mm-hmm.
The short one?
The tall one.
What tall one?
The tall one over there.
Oh. Was that a coyote?
Yep, that's a coyote sound. Where are you going?
I was standing just like there, and suddenly there's like a cloud with mosquitoes around me. Not used to that either in the middle of the winter.
They didn't have mosquitoes in Arizona.
No, they didn't. We sat out for a long time, but here, as soon as it's starting to be dusk, they're like out in force.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay, time to go inside, everybody.
We're gonna wrap it up and maybe, I don't know, put on some bug spray. Do we have bug spray?
Nope. We didn't know there were going to be mosquitoes in January.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy this sunset for a while longer.
Me too, from inside the motorhome.
But we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Sammy, we're wrapping it up.
Bye-bye.